1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Friday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we close out the week. We are now 24 hours away from preseason game number 1. Kansas City and Jacksonville tomorrow night, 7 o'clock kick. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL. Look, the bottom line is it's been a long time coming. It has been maybe the most consequential offseason in Jaguar history when you consider both on and off the field. On the field, the extension for Trevor Lawrence, the extension for Joshua Hines-Allen, the extension for Tyson Campbell. The foundation is now set with some cornerstones. And, oh, by the way, the Jacksonville City Council approving the stadium of the future. But now it gets back to actual football, which begins tomorrow night as the preseason opens up. We got a ton to get into. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. You will hear from Jaguars linebacker Caleb Johnson. He's coming into year number 3 here in Jacksonville. I had the opportunity to catch up with him earlier at the Miller Electric Center during Jaguar training camp. You will hear from a former NFL offensive lineman, a man that spent 4 years in the National Football League, just recently won a title with the UFL and the Birmingham franchise. My buddy Derwin Gray will join us to just give us the lowdown on preseason football. Derwin's a prime example. Derwin showed enough on tape after he was drafted in Pittsburgh to where it didn't work out there. He got signed in Jacksonville. It didn't work out here in Jacksonville, but yet he showed enough to get signed in Tennessee, and he carved out a nice little 4-year NFL career for himself. So we'll kind of talk about that aspect of preseason football, particularly game 1, as we're going to see an awful lot of young guys in the second half tomorrow night. And like I told Rick earlier, we will go out to Kansas City. My guy when it comes to the Chiefs is Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City, and he will give us the Chiefs' perspective on preseason game number 1 tomorrow night. Again, Andy Reid announced earlier in the week that his starters will play about a quarter or so on Saturday, so we will see if that ultimately comes to fruition. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We are with you till 10 o'clock. We are glad you are with us. Little Hack making his Hacker After Dark, at least streaming debut. If you're watching us on the MyBookie digital platform here, Little Hack, you want to wave to everybody? There you go. Denmark, let's cut his mic on. Little Hack, I was telling Baloo that you did your Meet the Teacher today at kindergarten. Was that a fun experience for you?
Yeah.
You enjoyed that? Are you fired up for kindergarten?
Yeah, I go 5 days a week now, Monday through Friday.
5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Well, that would make a lot of sense. And real quick, what are you looking forward to about kindergarten the most? Cafeteria?
Cafeteria.
Yeah?
So when we get picked up from Caroline, we go in the cafeteria and meet the other kindergarten class, and we go out first. So.
He is an absolute natural, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'll be back next month to talk on the radio with you.
Okay, mark it down. Put it in your schedule, and we'll make that happen. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night, and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
That's preseason game number 1. It is a big deal. You know, all the questions we have about this roster taking shape. What are the 53 final spots going to look like? What are the rookies going to look like? What are some of these free agents going to look like? We won't get all the answers tomorrow night. We probably won't get many answers tomorrow night, but we'll start getting some pieces filled in, right? What does Brian Thomas look like in his NFL debut? What about Mason Smith? What about Jarian Jones? DeAndre Prince? Very excited to see the rookies. And then the free agents they brought in from Devin Duvernay, right? Really interested to see what he can contribute to this football team. Now, Ezra Cleveland's going to be out. Mitch Morse is going to play. You're going to see your brand new center. Ezra Cleveland's out. Anton Harrison's out. This goes to show you the value of a guy like Walker Little, having him on the team because he can just step right in at right tackle. So your two tackles tomorrow night, Cam and Walker. Your interior lineman, I assume, would be Blake Hance, Mitch Morse, Brandon Sheriff. Look, it's all about protecting Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars, quite frankly, did not do a great job of that, particularly towards the middle to end of last year. You got to protect Trevor Lawrence. I think of all the guys that I'm interested in watching the most, truthfully, Tank Bigsby is pretty high on that list tomorrow. Bigsby has had a phenomenal training camp, but you could have said that 12 months ago. He had a great training camp, his rookie campaign. That did not come to fruition in the regular season. Hopefully that will be better in year number 2. Brenton Strange is another one. From the rookie year, that was somewhat of a disappointment. Now he will get more playing time beginning tomorrow night, preseason game number 1. How does a year of development in the NFL look for the second-round pick in 2023, Brenton Strange? So, again, I think you're going to see the starters. My guess would be if the Jaguar offense takes the ball, goes 7 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown, the starters are probably out at that point. All right? I'm not breaking any news there. But if they have a 3 and out, or maybe it looks sloppy on the opening series, you probably send them back out there for a second series. I cannot imagine the starters would get any more than 2 series unless it's 2 consecutive 3 and outs. And at that point, you might throw them out there for a third time so they can at least get a first down and feel good for themselves. I truly hope that doesn't happen. As far as the defense goes, Ryan Nielsen makes his debut as the Jags D coordinator. What a challenge. It looks like Mahomes is going to play. Kelsey's going to play at least a couple of series. Andy Reid said a 1 quarter is what he's planning on playing as starters. So Ryan Nielsen, welcome to Jacksonville. You get the defending world champions in preseason game 1, and you get the starters for a quarter. How is that going to look? Now, the Jaguar defense will be without Eric Armstead and Darnell Savage. Will also be without rookie Jordan Jefferson, so it won't be a full unit. But it will be Trayvon Walker. It will be Joshua Hines-Allen. It will be Devon Hamilton and Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd. I mean, you got to go out there and tough test right out of the gate, but a good barometer, a really good barometer to see where you're at. And, in fact, Doug Peterson met the media yesterday, and I asked him just that, playing the defending Super Bowl champion, the defending back-to-back Super Bowl champion here in early to mid-August, how good of a barometer is that for the Jaguars as they continue in training camp after preseason game 1?
I don't know. I that's just how I've treated it. I know that's how coaches treated it, you know. I think it's important that these guys play, you know, and especially early, you know. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot or a long time, but you want them to get out there and knock that rust off, you know, get that game feel, play against starters, and go execute. And like I said, it's not long, but it's good for those guys to get out there and do that.
That's the starters for Jacksonville and Kansas City that are going to play, and again, play about a quarter each. But again, you are playing the world champs. The last time Kansas City put on a pair of shoulder pads and a football helmet, they were hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Here's Doug Peterson on the barometer and what it'll look like for the Jaguars when they play Kansas City tomorrow. If they look good, it's great news, right? If they look bad, you kind of pump the brakes. My expectation is it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Playing the defending champions, if you're playing Carolina, there's going to be some good and some bad in preseason game number 1. That's just the reality of the situation. So the Jaguars right now have to be prepared. They have to look prepared. And as long as they don't go out there and turn the ball over, make stupid penalties, you don't want to see that. You also do not want to see injuries. I'm knocking on as much wood as I possibly can. Do not want to see any injuries whatsoever tomorrow night. And if you come out of the game healthy, it looks not sloppy. I don't necessarily even care if the offense scores. I'd like to see a couple of first downs, but them scoring to me is not a very high priority. I'd like to see the defense get a 3-and-out, certainly on Kansas City. You don't want to see them go through you like a hot knife through butter. But at the end of the day, this is about a test. And the test is you're playing a team that has won back-to-back Super Bowls. That's the bottom line. And you couldn't get a much better test in week 1 of the NFL preseason. One of the defensive guys that will get a lot of playing time tomorrow night for the Jacksonville Jaguars is linebacker Caleb Johnson. I had the opportunity, one of many opportunities this week, to speak with a lot of Jaguar players that will be on the field tomorrow night. Caleb Johnson is coming into year number 3 here in Jacksonville. He actually re-signed as a free agent this offseason. You will hear my conversation with Caleb Johnson. Remember, Derwin Gray, former NFL offensive lineman, comes up later on. We will go out to Kansas City, Soren Petro, Sports Radio 810, to get the Chiefs' perspective. We are absolutely loaded on preseason eve. The Jaguars are back on the field in less than 24 hours. Caleb Johnson, Jaguar linebacker, coming up next on a Friday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Can the Jaguars survive? Garrard's going to run for the first down and a lot more.
1010XL. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. American Rai Benjamin beat his rival Karsten Warholm of Norway to win the 400-meter hurdles, reversing the order of finish from Tokyo.
I didn't know I was going to win until like 5 meters before the line. I was like, don't get caught. Don't get caught. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to do it.
Meanwhile, gold for the U.S. women in the 4x100-meter relay in the pouring rain. Gabby Thomas passed the baton to Sha'Carri Richardson, who pulled ahead on the anchor leg. But a botched handoff disqualified the U.S. men in their 4x100 relay. Noah Lyles did not participate. 60 straight Olympic wins for the U.S. women's basketball team after blowing out Australia. They'll go for an 8th straight gold on Sunday against France. And Spain wins gold in men's soccer, 5-3 over France in extra time. With this Summer Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
Traveling, volunteering, spending time with family. What's your retirement look like? With income planning from Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor can help you grow and protect your wealth. They'll look at your full financial picture and help you create a flexible strategy that considers things like market conditions and healthcare expenses, so you can stop worrying about the future and enjoy whatever comes next. Visit fidelity.com/income planning. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE SIPC.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or matt-jacksonville.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
One of college football's most storied programs.
Get the latest from the Tallahassee Tribe on the Seminole Report.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team. Stay close to the Seminoles on 1010XL.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
The 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris feature incredible athletes, and it's the third time the Olympics will be held in Paris. If you're planning to attend, USAPark.net Airport Parking salutes your support of our American athletes. So no matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Yeah, you know, and obviously I'm not gauging it based off of that, but at the same time, I want to see execution. I want to see, guys playing hard and fast and just doing what we've done for the first 2 weeks of camp, and I think in preseason, the outcome, everybody wants to win the games, right? I mean, that's the bottom line, but I think it's more still evaluating your roster, especially when you get past your, so-called starters. But with the first group going against another first group, you want to see execution. Very, very few mistakes in those because you're running your training camp plays, and so things can that way things can be some. And again, you're not game planning anybody. You're just going out and doing your job.
The thoughts of Jaguar head coach Doug Peterson getting ready for Kansas City tomorrow night, preseason game number 1, Everbank Stadium, 7 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. It is a Friday evening, getting ready for the Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs. All training camp long, the Jaguar PR staff has been great to us here on Hacker After Dark. We've caught up with over a dozen players already that will continue into next week. One of the guys I had the opportunity to catch up with is linebacker Caleb Johnson. Caleb's coming into his 3rd year here in Jacksonville. He was singled out by a couple of coaches already as he, Daniel Thomas, and Dewey Wingard prior to Dewey's injury as kind of the 3 dudes on the special teams, the 3 leaders of the special teams unit. Keep in mind, we see that new kickoff here tomorrow night and that new kickoff rule in Jacksonville for the first time. Caleb Johnson will be a big part of that. Earlier this week at the Miller Electric Center, I had the opportunity to catch up with Jaguar linebacker Caleb Johnson. All right, Miller Electric Center, Jaguars wrapping up a Monday training camp practice indoors. We've got Jaguar linebacker Caleb Johnson here with us. Caleb, how we doing?
Doing well, man. Happy to be out here.
Practice indoors today. Obviously some weather outside. Still a very physical practice. How was it out there?
No, it was great. Great energy, especially on the defensive side. I thought we came together. We got after it. We were communicating, talking, and running to the ball. I thought it was a pretty good day.
It was a really good day from the defense from our perspective. You guys have had a few of those already in the first week and a half, 2 weeks of camp. What is going so right on the defensive side of the ball? What has Ryan Nielsen brought to you guys?
I think every meeting we started off with being attacking and being aggressive. So I think as long as we stay with that mindset and just keep pushing forward with that in mind, then we're just going to keep stacking the days.
It was bound to happen. We had a little heat, exchange of pleasantries out here between some of your teammates. We're to that point, though, right? I mean, OTAs, mini camp, you're battling the same people every day. You finally get to hit somebody else on Saturday. I bet you're looking forward to that.
No, absolutely. We're just out here competing, Day after day, we're just hitting each other. So, I mean, every training camp, there's always something going on, but we're just out here competing, playing football, and just looking forward to Saturday and letting all that frustration out.
What about you? 3rd year here in Jacksonville, you re-signed with the team. How important was that to continue your career here in Duval?
It's a blessing, especially in this league, being with the team for 3 years straight. It's an absolute blessing. So I'm happy to be here, happy to do whatever I can for the team and continue to, press on.
I was talking to Heath Farwell earlier this training camp. He singled out Daniel Thomas, Dewey Wingard, and Caleb Johnson as the 3 guys that kind of lead the special teams room. When you hear something like that, it's got to make you feel good.
No, absolutely. I take a lot of pride in the roles that I've played for this team. I put a lot of effort on the field, blood, sweat, and tears in order to do whatever I can. So I'm happy to be among those names, and I would say everybody on those teams list are, they all do very well, and we're all like leaders in our own right. So I'm happy to, be among them.
New kickoff rule. You guys get to live that on Saturday. You saw a little of it in the Hall of Fame game. I mean, as a guy that's a very good special teams player in this league, what do you make of this new rule and how it's going to affect the game?
Man, I'm excited. Especially last year, there was a lot of touchbacks, so this year is kind of eliminating that. So that means guys like me, we get more opportunities to make some tackles, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think just it's all going to happen fast, so we got to be faster,
You're a terrific special teams player, no doubt about it. You're making some plays out there on defense. I told you last week, you had a couple of picks. I gave you some love on the radio. Obviously, you want to get out on the defensive side of the ball more. Do you feel like you might be given more of an opportunity to do that?
Yeah, I think as long as I just keep my head down, just keep working, I just do whatever I can for the team, support my teammates as well. I just do what I can. And whatever's in my control is in my control. So whatever's out of my control is out of my control.
As we wrap up with Caleb Johnson, a couple of final thoughts. Number one, fans have been great, right? They're out there. We weren't out here today, but they've been out here all training camp long. Now they'll be in Everbank Stadium on Saturday when Kansas City rolls in. It's got to be good to get back in front of the home crowd on Saturday night.
No, yeah, it's awesome, man. We love hearing that Duval out there. We love the sea of teal is the best, man. It's absolutely amazing to see all the Duval fans out there cheering us on.
First time you've been in the preseason, obviously, but first time you've been on the field since last season ended. You were here, a part of that, obviously. How motivating is getting back out there to try to erase what happened towards the end of last year? How much of a motivating factor still is that for you guys?
I think this year we definitely have a much larger chip on our shoulder. Like, we really have something to go out there and prove. We have something to put our foot down on and stand on. So I think we're going to go out there and handle business, and we're going to do what we can. And we're going to attack and be aggressive.
Final question for you. I mean, you, Dewey, Daniel Thomas, then you go to Trevor and Josh and Foye and Tyson, re-signing their own guys. There was a time here in this organization before you arrived. Quite frankly, that didn't happen very much. What does it mean to guys in that locker room that the organization takes care of their own?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's like one of the tightest locker rooms I've ever been a part of, especially in this league. We're always in the locker room. We're super tight-knit, especially in the linebacker room. We're super tight-knit in there. So everything, it's like being in college again. Like, we're all brothers with each other. So I think, being able to have that consistency really builds a lot of chemistry, builds a lot of trust, and I think it's only going to keep us pushing forward.
Caleb, can you give him a Duval?
Duval!
Best of luck. We'll see you Saturday.
Appreciate you, man.
There you go, Caleb Johnson, linebacker of the Jacksonville Jaguars, down at the Miller Electric Center earlier this week. He's a guy that I'm certainly interested in watching. That linebacker core, look, we know about Foye Oluwakin. We know about Devin Lloyd. Chad Muma has had a good camp to this point. I think Ventrell Miller has had a good camp to this point. I said Caleb Johnson has done some nice things. And there's a young guy, Andrew Parker, number 58, is an undrafted free agent out of App State that anybody you talk to down there that covers the team, they're also very high on him as well. So those are some of the great storylines to follow as we get ready for this game against Kansas City tomorrow night. Preseason action going on in the NFL this evening. A team that's going to be in the conversation all year here locally is the Houston Texans. They kicked off their preseason, remember, in the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio against Atlanta, and that game was a glorified scrimmage. Nobody played. The Texans did play some of their guys tonight. C.J. Stroud, 2 of 4, 41 yards and a touchdown. He connected on a 34-yard score with Tank Dell. Got him out of the game immediately. Robert Woods, 4 for 42. Let's see. Dalton Schultz was targeted twice, did not catch any. John Mechie had a catch for 7. And as far as the defense for the Texans goes, Mario Edwards, who's replacing Danico Autry, he got a half sack. Daniil Hunter, who was a big free agent acquisition in Houston, he got a quarterback sack tonight. So the Texans won the offseason, and some of that is coming to fruition as they looked very, very good in preseason game number 1 this evening. They lead Pittsburgh 17-0 at halftime, and all the Texan starters now have been pulled. All the backups have checked into the game. Derwin Gray, 4-year NFL offensive lineman, spent time in Jacksonville, Tennessee, was also drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He just recently won a title in the UFL for Birmingham. He's a unique story this time of year. It was Derwin Gray's tape that he got in the preseason that after things did not work out in Pittsburgh, he got signed here. After things didn't work out here, he got signed in Tennessee. He is a great example of why preseason football matters. Because of preseason football and looking good on tape, he carved out a nice 4-year NFL career for himself, still playing professionally, just won that title in the UFL. We'll talk Jaguars, we'll talk Chiefs, we'll talk preseason, and we'll talk about the young guys and what is on the line for them beginning tomorrow night. That's next. Hacker After Dark on a Friday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. And we're glad you're with us. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
Bring in the heat. Your summer station. 1010XL.
Hey there, weekend warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at AwakeOn180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Raid wants to know, what would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device, no app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you're ready to rock. Whether you're rooting for your alma mater or your favorite team, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the national championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10 times return on their wager. These types of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin, and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Peaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Are there more men than women on the earth? The answer next.
With storm season blowing wind and rain, it's even more critical to protect your valuable assets with a policy from Southern Oak Insurance. Ask your agent about Southern Oak today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
For every 100 girls born, 106 boys are born. But men have a higher risk of dying than females.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours. If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
For over 40 years, Play It Again Sports has served its customers with a winning, sustainable shopping model. Could say, we were recycling before recycling was cool. Save on quality used sporting goods for baseball, softball, lacrosse, hockey, golf, tennis, and more. Or sell us your gently used gear. We buy all sports, all seasons, and offer cash on the spot. Stop by Play It Again Sports today on Merrill Road near 295 or online at playitagainsports.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Chiefs tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL as the preseason kicks off for both Kansas City and Jacksonville. We know the starters for both are going to play a couple of series, if not an entire quarter. Should be an interesting test for the Jaguars tomorrow night. With that, let's go to a man that knows all about preseason NFL football. He spent 4 years in the National Football League with Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. He most recently won a UFL championship as a member of the Birmingham franchise. That's my buddy Derwin Gray, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Derwin, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Ryan, appreciate you always to bring me back, man. I love this, man. I love talking and rapping with you every week.
Hey, Derwin, we always appreciate the conversation. All right, preseason game number 1. You played in, 4 years worth of these during your NFL career. Let's start from a rookie perspective first. You were a draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. For rookies tomorrow night making their NFL preseason debut, what's kind of the mindset 24 hours out right now knowing you're going to be on an NFL field for the first time tomorrow night?
Ryan, to start it off, man, I think a lot of these guys, man, there's going to be a lot of nerves and jitterness going through their veins, man. A lot of guys ain't going to be able to sleep tonight because this ain't college, ain't high school. This is now grown man football, man. So it's going to be a lot of nerves and things like that. It's going to be a lot of mistakes tomorrow. That's going to happen. But, man, for most of the players, man, it's best for them to go out there, man, and play confident, play fast, man. There's going to be a lot of mistakes that they can't. That's just going to happen. It's part of the game. And a lot of coaches know there's going to be a lot of mistakes out there, but they want looking to see these young guys really go around there and fly around and enjoy having fun and playing ball because there's going to be a lot of mistakes, man. And they only been together for a few weeks, man, doing this, man, trying to do this training camp thing and get this thing tight and ready to go for this game tomorrow night. So, and mostly it's for these guys to see how fast they retain the information they've learned from these past weeks and go put on the field, man, and play hard as you can because, man, you don't know how many opportunities you're going to get after tomorrow, man. Like, tomorrow's going to be a big day for a lot of these young guys.
Compare and contrast. You played college football at the highest level at the University of Maryland. You were a draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. What is it like, D1 college football, compared to your first NFL preseason? Is it an unbelievable, oh, my gosh, I'm here moment when those guys take the field tomorrow?
Oh, buddy, man, it's going to be an unbelievable moment for him. Come out there, man, like I said, it's going to be a lot of nerves, man, because it's almost like, how can I put this? It's almost like playing football all over again for the first time, man. Going out because it's a new stage, it's new crowds, there's a bigger scale now, man, like where everyone is critiquing everything you do, which they did in college, but now it's on a higher level. It's going to be a lot going through these guys, man. Everybody want to be perfect. Everybody want to go play a great game. And I give you a quick story, man. My rookie game, man, I'm playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Domkins' first year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I go out there, and I remember the coaches telling me, man, Ryan, that the Domkins suit wasn't going to play. It was my first time moving it from tackle to guard. I was at right guard, and we some kind of way they punted the ball off. We was backed up in our own 1 yard line, man. We come out there, man. We trying to get the ball out so we don't get a safety. And I look, but while we in the huddle, I happen to just look across the ball to go see who's lined up. And I see Big 93 over there. And I was like, oh, my God. They told me that the starters was not playing. Bro, I was ready to call timeout and sell myself out. But it was funny, man, because he dominated me that first play, man. And it was like, it didn't register me that was still Dominican Sue, man, because I'm still thinking, man, I'm just a college guy just getting to the NFL, and you're going against somebody who's been watching on TV for a long time. And it's like, that's about to happen for a lot of guys tomorrow, man. That their eyes going to get big, man. It's a big scale tomorrow, man. So, and then they understand that it's a price to pay too, man. Like people are getting about to lose jobs, people are getting cut, roster moves, transactions about to be going on after this game is over. So they got to make every rep count tomorrow, man, because there's no do-overs.
No, that's a great story. Former NFL offensive lineman Derwin Gray here with us. The veterans, Derwin, the guys that know they're going to be on this roster. They're going to see action for probably a couple of series, maybe an entire quarter tomorrow night. Is it just a situation where they're looking to go through the motions and get out of there tomorrow, or are there things they're going to be fine-tuning?
I mean, as a veteran guy, man, you're looking at it to build, to one, set the example for the guys that's not starting. So the starters, man, for example, Trevor Lawrence, he's looking to set the example for, you know what I'm saying, all the backups and everyone on the team, man. So it's just really to polish up. No one should be out there going through the motions because it's football and you should love playing every snap out there. But guys ain't gonna get that many opportunities with a starter. They only get a few, like I said, a few series, maybe a quarter, and they should be looking to, like I say, polish up, and most importantly, when they're out of the game, to coach the young guys up, because they get those guys in the flow, get them moving and grooving, man. And then most importantly, the older guys are trying to stay healthy and get ready for week one. To be honest.
Now the interesting thing, Derwin, is you talk about the starters. Well, Andy Reid out in Kansas City has come out earlier this week. And he's going to play Mahomes. I mean, Kelsey, that first-string offense for Kansas City is going to play about a quarter. I mean, you want to talk about a barometer right off the bat here on August. It'll be August 10th tomorrow, where this Jaguar football team is at. Well, here come the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions. You're going to see their guys for about a quarter or so. That should be a good barometer to see where Jacksonville is right now, correct?
Correct, always, man. Going against the Super Bowl champions, man, is always going to be a game, man, especially for those guys, man. Definitely got an opportunity to go out there, man, and show where they at as a football team. And let's be real, the Chiefs is a standard. They have been a standard around the league for the past few years now, and everyone wants to get where the Chiefs at and get better than them. So this is the opportunity for the Jags to really show where they at. And once again, we got to keep in mind it's still preseason, so the starters probably will not play the whole game. Andy Reid will not play his whole starters the whole game because now you run into a risk of injuries. But they will get the opportunity to see where they at for the first few drives, man, to see where the defense for the Jags is going against a powerhouse offense like those guys, and see exactly where Trevor Lawrence at going against a great defensive line, a great front that has a great edge rushers, great defensive interior linemen, all that. So we get to see iron sharpen iron tomorrow, man, and it's gonna be fun to watch, man. I'm excited to see both of those squads go square off tomorrow, man. See where both ball clubs at.
Couple more for former NFL offensive lineman Derwin Gray. Derwin, speaking of the offensive line, that's your specialty. Ezra Cleveland's going to be out. Anton Harrison is going to be out. So 2/5 rather, 40% of your starting O-line is out tomorrow night. Any level of concern for Trevor, or I guess this is a good reason why we're lucky in the sense that Walker Little is in there, Blake Hance will be in there, who's played a lot. This is where the depth of that Jaguar offensive line really shows up.
100%, man. Should you be worried about Trevor's long safety out there? 100%, because they are not the starters. But at the same point, they are professionals, man. And Walker Little's been around this game for a little second now. He's not considered a veteran now. You have guys like guys with to lean on now, because in this game, Ryan, injuries are going to happen regardless. This won't be the last time we go this time during the season talking about injuries, because someone is offensive line going to go down again, and they were like, hey, do we worry about concern about this guy now? No, we never going to get concerned about that. All we can worry about is the next man up and make sure that guy's ready, because you have rookie Javon Foster, man, is ready to go work. You know what I'm saying? You have Tyler Shatley, like guy I used to play with, man. He can play guard and center. So you have great depth and great veteran guys, man, that can go out there and put on the show and do what's asked of them at a high level. So am I concerned? No, but at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we'll find out tomorrow, but I'm not concerned at all. I think those guys will be ready to go.
You were teammates with Tyler Shatley, as you mentioned. I interviewed Tyler on Saturday, where he basically announced in the middle of the interview that 2024 was going to be his final year in the league. Caught me off guard a little bit, but this is the swan song for Tyler Shatley. What has a guy like that, Derwin, meant to this Jaguar organization, in your opinion?
I only spent a little bit of time with Tyler, man. Tyler's always been a great teammate to me, man. He was a great brother. He was a guy that was always about the team, never about himself. And he was a guy that did was asked of him. Sometimes he wasn't a starter. When Brendan Linden was my teammate, he was the starting center. He always did everything he had to do to be a great teammate, to not try to, I would say, everyone's trying to play for a starting spot, but he accepted the fact that he wasn't going to be the starter over Brandon Linden. And he knew he was the guy, but he understood how to make himself a great teammate to be available to play guard, center if Linden went down. And hey, so Linden retired a year after, and then he became the guy. You know what I mean? And he just understood his role, man, and how to execute what was asked of him. He was just an overall great teammate, man. That's why Tyler Shelley always gonna have a team, whether he chooses to retire at the end of the season or he ends up in another ball club. He's always gonna be a great teammate wherever he go and stick wherever he goes, because those type of guys that you want on your offensive line group, unselfish, about the team, will put his body on the line and go the extra mile every time for every player.
Yeah, I'm a big Tyler Shatley fan as well. There's no doubt about that. Final moments with former NFL offensive lineman Derwin Gray. Derwin, I would imagine the Jaguars are happy they get to hit somebody else tomorrow because they've been battling in OTAs and mini camp and training camp. And as far as training camp fights go, we had a good one earlier in the week between Buster Brown, the corner. He knocked Gabe Davis pretty good. The offense took exception to that. Christian Kirk was involved there. No, I think everything has been smoothed over since. That happened on Monday. But clearly you get tired of battling the same guys. You finally get to hit somebody in a different color uniform tomorrow. I imagine the guys are looking forward to that.
100%, man. I think the guys cannot wait to go hit another color jersey, man, because overall, camp is always long, man. It feels long. It feels dragged out. Guys are ready to go play a real game and go, and I'm saying put on a show for somebody else and actually go take their physicality on another team. So when you're dealing with training camp, once again, we talked about previously, you're dealing with heat factors, you're dealing with people that's tired, you're dealing with a lot of different emotions on the field, people that are not where they want to be mentally on the field, as far as they're not assignment correct out there. They're missing a lot of plays. You know what I'm saying? Some guys is not in the action, not playing as much. So you have a lot of different emotions out there, man. Sometimes you got guys out there just trying to make a play and forget that's their own teammate. And it causes a lot of fuse and rage around the field, and it turns to big fights. But once again, man, it's football. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. I think we talked about previous on the show, Ryan, that this won't be the last time we talk about a fight. And guess what happened? We talked about it again now. It's going to continue to happen until training camp is over with, man. I mean, this is the time where people got to make teams and make rosters, man. And it's getting crunchy and getting tight as the games start to approach now, man. So it's a lot at stake right now, Ryan, and I'm excited, man, to see these guys go work tomorrow against another color jersey.
Derwin, a guy you're familiar with, the Jaguars signed yesterday, Breeland Speaks. He was the UFL Defensive Player of the Year for the Michigan franchise. You just won a UFL championship as part of Birmingham. I would imagine you played against Breeland this past year. Just your thoughts on his arrival to Jacksonville. He essentially takes the spot of Deshaun Dixon, who tore his ACL. Dixon, unfortunately, was having a good camp. But what about the UFL Defensive Player of the Year, Breeland Speaks? What are the Jaguars getting with him?
Breeland, man, he's a leader, man. I got to say, playing against Breeland is not much of a talk on the field. Breeland's a good player, man. I would never take that from Breeland. He's a former second-round draft pick to Kansas City, man. And he's a solid, big-body guy, man. He has great size, man. High motor, shows tremendous heart every single play. He's going to do the small things to make a play. Man, he's always going to be around the ball. That's what I like about Breeland's game. He's always around the ball, man. And he just cares that much about ball, man. And I love that about his game, being a competitor against him, man, and watching him work and watching his film against other players, man. But I'm most impressed with, man, just his leadership and, man, how humble he is and just understanding the game and continue to be a student of the game. I think they're getting a great guy like that, man, that's going to come in and be able to learn from Josh Hines Allen, man, and continue to grow and get better. Once again, he was a second-round draft pick. He's no slouch. He's no unfamiliar name around the league. So, I mean, last season he had 9 sacks. He led the league with 13 TFLs. The guy number speaks for itself. So he's going to be a great, tremendous addition to the Jags D-line and linebacker, how they want to choose to use him, man. And he's going to help out a lot, man. So I'm wish the best for him tomorrow.
And Derwin, as we wrap up, I want to talk about a new venture that you have going on with one of my other good buddies, Leon Searcy. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you're kind of the guy when people talk about, putting good things on tape. If it doesn't work out for you with one organization, you want to put out good tape. You had great tape in Pittsburgh that got you signed here in Jacksonville. You had great tape here in Jacksonville. That got you signed in Tennessee. You carved out a 4-year NFL career for yourself and are now in the UFL because of the tape. People see you and sign you. That's the message, right? If you're going to talk to these guys that know they're not in good standing on the Jaguar roster, man, when they get their opportunity in the third and fourth quarters tomorrow night, even if it's not going to work out long-term here, it's about getting that good tape for the other 31 teams in the league.
100%, Ryan. I mean, you hit it right on the nose. This preseason is literally, yes, it's a game. It's time to go out there and make your money and do what you got to do, man. But most important is about building that resume. Your film is your resume, and you have to every day approach it like that, man. Every play has to count, man. You can't take a play off during this time because the next team is watching this, man. And usually it's going to be someone in your division that's probably going to pick you up if it doesn't work here in Jacksonville. So, with that being said, man, it's a lot at stake for these guys, man. Every day, man, every play they have to come out there and work, man, every play, because you just never know when your last moment inside of that bank will be. You know what I mean? You'll be out of there before you know it. You want to make sure that you prepare, man, by having your tape together, having your resume ready for the next team to view, man, and get yourself another job and opportunity to go play somewhere else. Because whether you stay here or leave, this journey's never over, man. Like, it's over, it ain't over till it's over. So right now, continue to build that resume, man, and continue to get better every single day, man, to get another opportunity just in case something doesn't work out here.
Former NFL offensive lineman Derwin Gray. You'll hear him a lot here on Hacker After Dark during the football season. You hear Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime. Leon's going to join me for the fifth quarter on Sundays with head coach Dave Campo after each Jaguar game. And Derwin, I know I got you and Leon together, and you guys have a new venture coming out yourselves, correct?
Correct, man. And me and Leon, man, has finally we've been talking about potentially doing a podcast together, man. And I think it'd be great for Jacksonville, man, to see two big guys in the trenches from the old school to the new school, I say, right? Old school to the new school, man. And bring a little bit of football fun, man, to the community, man, out there in the St. John's community, man, at Burger Barn, man. We'll be doing our podcast every Monday, you know what I mean, once the season starts, man. We do a little bit of Jags talk, a little bit of around the league talk and things like that. So depending on which day the Jags play, whether it's a Monday night or a Sunday night game or Sunday during the day, we'll cover those games plus the Jazz game. So we do all that, man, on a Monday, man. It should be fun, man. If y'all in the Jacksonville area, man, please come out, man. Have some fun, man, with us, man. Talk some ball and interact with us, man. So that's about it.
I love that. And we'll certainly mention that more as it approaches. Derwin Gray, former NFL offensive lineman. Derwin, enjoy the ball game on Saturday night with Kansas City and Jacksonville. We'll recap it next week. And we got joint practices next week with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading into preseason week number 2. Derwin, thank you as always, pal.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you, Ryan.
I'm Josh Scobie.
Scobie sweeps the leg, 59 yards away.
On 1010XL.
He's got it. Jacksonville wins.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Oh, no. No.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roofing Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gates store anywhere around Duval and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I took Little Hack to meet his teacher today at kindergarten, saw some people I hadn't seen in the last couple of months, and I'm kind of getting used to the looks now, but they're all positive. They used to be negative about my appearance. Trust me, I saw some looks when I was massively overweight, but now after losing over 85 pounds in less than 5.5 months, people are coming up to me, looking at me, saying, how? I say, it's very simple. Awaken 180 weight loss. It works. I'm living proof that it works. I've tried a lot of weight loss programs. I've even tried a lot over the years on various radio stations. None of them worked. Awaken 180's changed my life. Literally, and I don't say that lightly. They have changed my life for the better. If it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, do what I did. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That company can change your life. Trust me. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in at my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Taking to 10 o'clock tonight on a preseason eve here in Jacksonville. Jaguars and the Chiefs tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Speaking of Kansas City, our guy out in Kansas City, Soren Petro, Sports Radio 810 in the Kansas City area. He will join us at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour to give the Chiefs' perspective of this preseason opener, kind of where they're at in training camp and how they're going to go about trying to make history this year. Again, no one's ever gone back-to-back-to-back three-peat. Kansas City's trying to do it. They kick off their preseason tomorrow night here in Jacksonville. So Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, my guy Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Now, Ryan's a guy that I've had on covering the NFL draft for years. But since we're on the eve of Brian Thomas and Mason Smith and Jarian Jones and Joshua Cephas and all these Jaguar rookies getting ready to make their preseason debut, I thought I'd get Ryan on, just go over them, at least the rookies, the younger players on this team. Ryan also is a big part of A2ZSports.com's brand new college football coverage. So we'll throw in a little Florida and a little Florida State as well. College football fans, we haven't forgotten about you. We're 2 weeks from tomorrow. We are 2 weeks from tomorrow until Florida State and Georgia Tech kick off the college football season over in Dublin, Ireland on Saturday, August the 24th. So there is a ton to do, a ton to get into. As always, we're glad you're with us. And a reminder, you can always stream this show and every show here on 1010XL, the MyBookie digital platform, Twitter/X, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. You can watch every show live from the comfort of your phone, your computer, what have you, and the MyBookie digital platform. Just search 1010XL. Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, talking Jaguar rookies and talking a little college ball. That's next. Friday night, Hacker After Dark in the city of Jacksonville, here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with renter's insurance. Visit Progressive.com. A botched handoff again dooms the U.S. men in the 4x100-meter relay. They were disqualified. The medal drought for the U.S. in this event goes back to 2004. But the U.S. women won gold in their 4x100 relay. Sha'Carri Richardson erased a deficit running the anchor leg. Meanwhile, revenge for Rai Benjamin in the 400-meter hurdles. He beats defending champ Karsten Warholm of Norway after settling for silver in Tokyo. Olivia Reeves wins the first gold for the U.S. in weightlifting in 24 years. Other Americans to medal, freestyle wrestling. Spencer Lee takes silver. Aaron Brooks and Helen Maroulis both get bronze. Also bronze for Christina Teachout in Taekwondo. With this Summer Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Story of the one.
As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of new vehicles. Camrys starting at $329 a month. RAV4s for $349 a month. Tundras as low as $499 a month. And they all come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected for the next 20 years. Plus, every purchase will help fund a teacher's project in our schools. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota St. Augustine. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It all comes down to Daytona in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 23rd and 24th. Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for your chance to win.
Get your athletes game day ready with Injury Care Centers. Kick off the upcoming sports season with their $69 Peak Performance Physical. It identifies strengths and weaknesses in muscles and body mechanics, tapping into the power of AI technology. Help your athlete run faster, throw harder, and jump higher at Injury Care Centers. Elevate their game from the inside out. Call Injury Care Centers today, 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008.
You've heard fish stories, and Captain Kevin has a million of them.
We love to tell stories, hear your stories.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Big fish.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Pickett here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and now that you have Honda boats on the showroom floor, tell them about the big boat sale.
We are excited. We got a big sale, 11th through 13th. You want to come on down, see us in person. Some of our boats are going to be up to 30 grand off.
Up to 30 grand off?
30,000 in savings. It's a big sale event.
So they can start shopping online at cyclesofjacksonville.com. The size of the boats?
Anywhere from 19 to 24 foot, all with legendary Honda outboards.
Honda and Coach, check them both out on Atlantic near Regency. Cycles of Jacksonville.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa, you'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010XL.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguar preseason kicks off Saturday night as the Kansas City Chiefs roll in. Don't get too excited. It's probably going to be a lot of the Kansas City junior varsity. But hey, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce will probably be on the sideline taking in the ball game. We will see some Jaguar starters, I think, for at least a little bit. So we'll talk some NFL preseason. We'll talk some Jaguars. And look on that calendar. We are inside of 3 weeks now until the college football regular season kicks off. And, of course, Florida State is the first game out of the gate. There is a ton to get into with that. Let me welcome in my buddy Ryan Roberts. I've had him on for years. He still is going to cover the NFL draft, but he's also now one of the main college football guys at A2ZSports.com. Ryan, congratulations on the new gig, my man.
Oh, I appreciate it, Ryan. I appreciate you for having me back on as always, too, man. It's been a blessing to be able to come on so frequently over the last few years, man. So thank you as always.
Yeah, I tell you, you've done a great job, and obviously your work is being rewarded. A2Z Sports. We'll talk all about that here in just a moment. Let's first focus on the NFL. You cover the draft and have done a great job in doing so for years. The Jaguar rookies are going to make their preseason debut, at least most of them, on Saturday night. Ryan, we had you on right after the draft. It's been about 3 months now. Again, just your thoughts on what the Jaguars were able to accomplish with the likes of Brian Thomas, Mason Smith, Jarian Jones, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one big thing that I wanted to see from the Jaguars, and I think this is kind of an initiative for most teams, is you always want to get longer and more athletic, right? Like every single year, I feel like that's a thing that whether you are, whatever side of team building that you kind of lie on, whether it's from an analytical approach, whether from as a pure film approach, the thing that you always want to do regardless is you always want to get more athletic. You always want to get longer. Like that is a requisite that most teams kind of subscribe to, obviously. When you get Brian Thomas Jr., when you get a Mason Smith, although there are concerns with both of them, I mean, to a degree, at least things that you need to figure out, you got longer and you got more athletic. When we were kind of talking about the Jaguars thought process going up into the draft, like Brian Thomas was the guy that I was talking about ferociously to you as far as like a guy in the first round. I think that that's a guy the Jaguars desperately need. Like you have the auxiliary pass catchers, you have the smaller guys like Christian Kirk, who's a good player for his role, but you need a guy that has that length, that athleticism. So I think overall, it's an exciting class with a lot of upside. There might be a couple guys that I would say are maybe lower floor players, like a Mason Smith, for instance. But if they are developed properly, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be a much longer, more athletic team in 2024. And I think that that's when you start talking about, eliminating the small margin for error. When you get more athletic and longer, like that's what you do. You increase your margin for error. Not everything has to be perfect every single play. Not every technical aspect has to be 100% every single play. That allows a little bit bigger margin for error. And I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars, speaking in that sense, have given themselves a bigger window to make a lot more plays because they are a ton more athletic than they were just this past year.
Ryan, I've learned not to put too much stock in training camp in the preseason because goodness knows I have in the past, and it's bitten me a little bit. So with experience comes a more wait-and-see approach. But I got to tell you, those two corners the Jaguars drafted, Jarian Jones and even DeAndre Prince a little bit, every time they're out there, they're doing something positive, right? Now, I know it's going to be hard for rookie corners to come in and make a big contribution. But, again, I'm trying to pump the brakes a little bit, particularly on Jones. But I think Jacksonville potentially may have found something there.
Yeah, well, I've actually been following along with Prince a little bit because one of my good friends is actually his agent. So, like, every time he makes a nice play down in Jacksonville, I see a nice retweet from that account, right? So, I mean, it is a really impressive. They both have core competencies and they both have athletic traits that get you excited. Obviously, like Jones when he was at Florida State, he was a kid that you could call an outside corner, you could call a nickel. I mean, he was even rolling back to safety at some points, right? So, like, the versatility, I think, is tons better than it was last year, right? I know you guys obviously locked up Tyson Campbell, which is big for, like, the long-term future as well. But I think in today's game that is so predicated on creating and manipulating space, I think that you need as many good defensive backs as possible. So if those kids are able to play in 2024 and able to contribute at a decent level to a high level potentially, I think that makes you obviously a lot more versatile in the back end, especially a kid like Jones who's played so many different spots when he was with the Seminoles.
Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com, covering both the NFL draft and the world of college football. We'll get in to Florida and Florida State with Ryan in just a moment. Ryan, not to spend too much time on the kicking situation, but Cam Little was a sixth rounder, was the third kicker taken. He's already won the job. The Jaguars flat out released Riley Patterson last week, so I don't even think there really was a competition there. Little has been drilling 50-plus yarders, including a 57-yarder in the stadium practice this past weekend. Were you surprised at the time that he was the third of those kickers to go in round 6?
I was a little bit actually because I full transparency, I don't evaluate kickers, but I do have people that I trust in the space that do it for a living, right? So there were some people that were extremely high on Little, so I think he was at least in the conversation to be one of the top 2 specialists potentially in the draft. So him going in the 6th round, I'm not a huge fan of drafting kickers, specialists just in general, just because there's so many obvious cases of guys being really good players that were not drafted in that realm, right? So, but regardless, you spent a 6th round draft pick, which is a good amount of compensation for a rookie kicker. So you would think that he would be the guy, at least on the short term into the long term, hopefully, if we're talking about the pure future there. So it's nice to see that he's kind of coming out and kicking well for Jacksonville. The thing that's going to obviously, I don't want to say unsettle you, is that, a rookie kicker for a team that is, they want to contend for playoff berths for the foreseeable future, at least in 2024. I do have some questions of, big situation in a playoff game, or at least in a game that's going to clinch a playoff berth. Like, those things are always going to run through your mind a little bit. But obviously he's done a really good job, and able to, solidify a job this early in the camp is not something to just turn your head at, right? So great job for him to be able to find that starting role. And hopefully when Jacksonville needs him in the big moment in 2024, Cam Little is able to make it.
Not only a rookie kicker, I believe he's still 20 years old. Now he's about to turn 21, but yeah, he's a young rookie kicker to boot. Ryan, before we branch out into the world of college football, I'm going to throw kind of a curveball at you. Joshua Cephas, right, the wide receiver from Texas San Antonio. I remember you and I talked right after the draft, and truthfully, I didn't know a lot about him other than people were telling me, why did this guy go undrafted? I now know why people were asking me that. He's out there. He's like Jarian Jones. Every time he's out there, something positive's happening. Now, look, I don't know if he's going to make the 53-man roster. I think he's absolutely going to be on the practice squad. But at this point, I'm not sure how you cut Joshua Cephas with what he's done. I'll ask you what people were asking me 2.5 months ago. Why did Joshua Cephas not get drafted?
He's one of those kids because, funny enough, UTSA actually had a couple really talented wide receivers. They had another kid named Decurion Clark, who I think went back to school and he ended up transferring somewhere else. But with Cephas, there's just nothing about him that I want to state this the right way because I don't want it to sound disrespectful. Like, there's nothing about him that's elite, right? As far as he's got a sleek frame, so he's not the most dynamic player in terms of just pure play strength. He's a good vertical athlete, but he's not a kid that's like, 4.3 type of vertical athlete, right? So he kind of just checks a lot of boxes, but he doesn't really master any, if that makes any sense, right? So I think that it was just kind of, and this has been true the last few years. I mean, I think 4 out of the last 5 years would quantify this way. We got some really good wide receiver classes, man. And in really good wide receiver classes, some really talented players are going to get pushed down the board or off of the board completely just based upon the volume of number of great receivers that were coming from. So I think just the simple fact of Cephas in another really good wide receiver class this past year, and there was nothing, I guess, standout trait that you would kind of just look at and say, like, that guy is going to be elite in that one department. He's a guy that should be good in just about every facet. Like, again, he's sleek. He kind of lulls you to sleep as a route runner a little bit. He's better after the catch than you would anticipate for a guy that's a little bit thinner. So I think that he just kind of does everything really well, but he doesn't have anything that necessarily is something that people would look at and say, that's the go-to, that's the thing that's the sticking point, that's the elite trait that he possesses.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the guys I'm excited to see beginning Saturday when the Jaguars kick off their preseason. Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Now, Ryan does a great job covering the NFL draft. Ryan also now covers the world of college football for A to Z Sports, and that brings us to the local teams, both Florida and Florida State. Let's begin with the Noles. I mean, they're the first game out of the gate. Florida State plays a game in 19 days, which is just wild to think about, over there in Dublin, Ireland against Georgia Tech. Ryan, they lost an awful lot. We talk about Jarian Jones. You add about 12, 13 more names to that. People that were in Doak Campbell last year are going to be playing on Sundays in the NFL this year. Has Florida State been able to replace all that talent? And do you think they could potentially make that college football playoff run here in 2024?
It's possible. It's very possible. I think the over-under, I think at least on one sports book I saw, was 9.5. So, like, I think people mostly think they're going to be a good team, right? But obviously coming off of a undefeated regular season and ACC championship game, are they going to be 13-0 going into playoff contention? Like, I'm not sure about that. I'm more on the wavelength. I think this is more like a 10-2 football team, which is still very good, right? Like, and 10-2 in a lot of years will potentially make you the playoff, right? In a 12-team playoff. So 10-2, I think, is right on the cusp of potentially making that college football playoff. You could be first in or last in, first out type of situation. I think the big thing about this season for Florida State, in my opinion, is Mike Norvell has done a great job of just kind of steadily building, right? Like the high school ranks has gotten increasingly better over the last couple of years, but the big thing that he did this past year and over the last 2 years is he really hit the transfer portal out of the park. Like, he really did. I mean, you think about some of the best players that Florida State's had the past year or so, they're transfer portal kids. You got Jared Verse from Albany. You got Johnny Wilson from Oregon. You got Keon Coleman from Florida State. Even though it's technically before the transfer portal, you got Jordan Travis, your star quarterback, was at Louisville originally, right? So I think when you look at it, they have really done a great job of hitting those short-term investments in the transfer portal. Now, when you do that, though, I think that there's two things that happen. One, you are able to sustain the back end and make this a little bit more complete roster where you just need to fill in the gaps with a couple high-priced and big-time transfer portal players, which is a great formula. But the other side is if you're not developing properly the younger kids, and I have no idea of how well Florida State's doing that because we've just seen a lot of those transfers the last couple of years. The one bad negative is that if you're relying so heavily on the transfer portal, that if you have an offseason where you don't hit on a couple guys, let's say you get a guy that you think is going to be the next Jared Verse, and then he ends up just being a average role player, right? Like the kid that they got from Oregon State, the defensive end, then that could potentially set you back, and you could have a not quite as bad as a Michigan State situation under Mel Tucker where they hit the transfer portal one year, the next year they didn't, and it was bad, and it turns ugly quick. I don't think that's going to be the area for Mike Norvell, but I do think that there is a situation where you might go 9-3, 10-2 this year just because maybe you hit the transfer portal solidly this year, but you're not going to hit a home run every single year. So I think they did a good job rebuilding this roster. Getting DJ Uyunglele in the transfer portal, I think, was a solid pickup. You got the defensive end whose name I'm not going to butcher from Oregon State coming in this offseason as well. You got some good players. I'm not sure if I'm willing to say that they knocked it out of the park like they had the last couple years. I'm going to say this is more 9-3, 10-2 football team. I lead toward the latter on that one.
Final moments, Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com. Quickly, Ryan, because I want to end with the Gators. Better shot to make the playoff, Florida State or Miami?
Florida State or man, I would actually go Florida State. Miami, I think, has more talent on paper, right? But I really struggle with Mario Cristobal as a head coach in general, but then also they are a team that just went full in. And I know they're recruiting the high school ranks well, but like this year, they're like, we're all in on this team. And I think that is a very volatile formula. So I'll say Florida State, but I do think Miami is the more talented team on the roster. I think I just trust Mike Norvell a lot more than I do Mario Cristobal right now.
Of course, Miami begins in the Swamp against Florida in a gigantic game for both Mario Cristobal and Billy Napier. And, Ryan, let's end with the Gators. Quite frankly, there are not a lot of expectations, even among diehard Gator Nation here in Northeast Florida. I think most Gator fans right now, you tell them 7-5, they'll say, where do I sign? You say 8-4 or better, they might make a statue of Billy Napier in Gainesville. I mean, what's your expectation with the knowledge that schedule is maybe the hardest on paper in the history of Florida football?
Yeah, I mean, I never wish for a guy to lose his job, obviously, and I'm definitely not doing that here. But, like, I find it hard to believe that Billy Napier is the head coach by the end of the season, or at least coming out of the offseason. Like, it's murderer's row, man. Like, it's not a hard early schedule, but like when you get into the meat of it down the stretch, like it is just brutal, man. Like absolutely brutal. So unfortunately for Coach Napier, who is on the hot seat with 2 sub 500 seasons the first 2 years, I mean, you're going into a situation where it's make or break, it's win or lose. I mean, in the most hyperbolic capacity, right? So I don't feel good about it. I really don't. I think that Florida has a chance to eke out a couple close ones, but like I'm not betting on it right now. So I really think that this is just an unfortunate circumstance, and everything I've heard, and I obviously covered SEC Media Day this year, and just kind of hearing some of the cliches that Coach Napier is throwing out there. Like I'm not very positive about this program moving forward, at least under Coach Napier in 2024. So I think that I'm trending towards this being the worst possible outcome. I hope that this team doesn't quit on him necessarily, but I do think that this is going to be a very rough stretch for Florida Gator football this year.
I mean, the 12-game schedule, the last 5 are ridiculous. I agree. Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, Florida State. To me, Ryan, and final thought before we talk about A2ZSports.com, to me, it comes down to the 4 home games prior to the cocktail party. You get Miami, Texas A&M, UCF, and Kentucky at home. At absolute minimum, Florida's got to go 3-1. Anything worse than 3-1 in those 4 home games, they're in a lot of trouble to me.
I agree completely. And the problem is that what was once, at one time, Kentucky, Florida, like that's a no-brainer, right? Like you're going to pick Florida. UCF, just a couple years ago, you'd have been like, Florida, UCF, come on, guys, what are we doing? But like the UCF team, I think, is trending upward a little bit, and at best, Florida stagnated a little bit right now. So it's going to be tough, man. It really is. Like there are parts of this Florida team that I like. I think that the coaching staff did great work with Graham Mertz last year coming over from Wisconsin. I thought he actually had a really surprisingly good season. I think Montreal Johnson in the backfield is a really good football player, one of the most underrated running backs in college football. I think Eugene Wilson, the sophomore receiver, is going to be a star. Like we'll be talking about him next year probably for the NFL draft. I think that kid is that good. But I do think that the offensive line is still a major work in progress for Florida. I think the defensive line, although stout and massive on the inside, I think they still need some impact talent on the edges, especially with losing Princely this offseason as well. So I just think there's too many holes, especially in the trenches. And I just think it's going to be a little bit of a rough go, man. Hoping for the best, because I will say this. College football is always a better product when Florida Gators are a good football team. So I'm hoping that they surprise me a little bit in 2024. But I'm not overly optimistic right now.
Ryan, tell us about A2ZSports.com, where people can find you and what they can look forward to.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really great and growing site. They've been together since 2016. They are expanding into the college football market. So they've had a team site on the NFL side the last few years, last couple of years, and they've been killing it with the numbers. And so they're expanding into the college football realm, right? So I'll still have my hand in Notre Dame, which I've been covering the last couple of years, but it's going to be a more general college football. There's going to be a much deeper announcement as far as like the college football coverage, especially for the season, kind of later in the summer here. But college football, NFL draft, been having a lot of great interviews that I've been having on the site, like Jordan Reed and Connor Rogers. Dane Brugler is going to be on this offseason as well. Just covering everything Notre Dame, college football, NFL draft-centric, man. So A to Z Sports, if you go over there, if you're an NFL fan, everything that you need. If you're a college football fan, everything you need and continuing to grow. And then the NFL draft space is growing as well there. So great. I think it's a great spot. Just if you're a general football fan, you can find a lot of great stuff there.
He's one of our favorites, Ryan Roberts, A to Z Sports.com. Ryan, I know you're busy. Thank you for taking time out, bud. We'll do it again soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you as always.
You talk a good game.
It lives up to the hype, plus.
And so do we. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
The Arabian dromedary. That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool. They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Canines for Warriors provides veterans with lifelong companions in one of their highly trained service dogs. If you know a veteran who could benefit from a companion or simply want to support, visit caninesforwarriors.org.
Your love can give pets a purpose. To adopt a loving animal from the Jacksonville Humane Society, call 725-8766.
Having a mentor can positively change a young life right here in Jacksonville. It only takes 4 to 7 hours a month to be a big brother or big sister and change a life forever. Become a big today at bbbsnefl.org.
There is a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating to a local blood donation center.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're hungry for midday sports talk, share a table with Helmets and Heels.
It's a bad idea to travel on an empty stomach.
Mia, Lauren, and Taylor. We like hungry.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
As someone
you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, we know how to stop termites. These destructive pests have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so do we. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem? Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Are you a meat lover searching for quality cuts? Southern Steer Butcher uses a vacuum tumbler to marinate and tenderize our chicken and world-famous steak tips.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Chiefs and the Jaguars to kick off the preseason on Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL as Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Kansas City roll in to take on Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. And we believe, at least for a little bit, you'll see some of the Jaguar starters out there on Saturday. Let's head to Kansas City. Our guy when it comes to the Chiefs is Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810 in the Kansas City area, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Soren, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you, buddy?
Soren, we're good. Thank you for the time. And all right, we start this crazy thing known as the 2024 NFL season Saturday night when the preseason kicks off. Training camp for Kansas City. Soren, correct me if I'm wrong. The Chiefs were in camp, a couple of days before basically any other team, correct?
Yeah, but that Thursday night opener, they get a couple of day head start. Baltimore and Houston and Chicago playing in the Hall of Fame game get that jump on getting camp started. So they're probably a little bit further along than Jacksonville, been in pads a little bit longer and probably a little bit more eager to see somebody in a different color jersey.
Let's just get this out of the way right away. I can't imagine Mahomes or Kelce is going to play. Is that true? And how many starters, if any, will we see on Saturday night?
I think they will play. I think Mahomes will play, but it'll be like very minimal. Last year, I think he was 1 for 2, had a couple of pass attempts, maybe one series and was out of there. Then he played, I think, a half in the second game and none in the third game. So I would expect that you'll see him. They'll go through the motion of getting the play calls in, getting in and out of the huddle. I think Andy likes everybody to go through their normal pregame routine so they start to get into the rhythm of the season. So I think you'll briefly see Patrick Mahomes, briefly see guys like Travis Kelce. Chris Jones may be a different story, but I know for the offense, he likes to get a little bit of a rhythm and at least get a first drive in. Now that drive is usually pretty simple, pretty basic, and pretty short and ineffective, to be honest with you, but you'll probably get a quick glimpse of some of the top guys.
Interesting. All right, so maybe we'll see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on Saturday night. Soren, what's been the vibe around Chiefs camp? Back-to-back championships. They're going for history and a three-peat this year. Like you said, they've been in now for a little over 2 weeks. What's the vibe around that team?
You know, I think it's a little bit, a mild injury concern. I think that's part of it. They knew coming in that Charles Omenihu would be out. They've lost Justin Reed. Well, the Chiefs won't say much about it. We're kind of hearing that it might creep into week 1, week 2 before he's ready with his quad injury. And then they've had a number of different defensive backs go down. And Steve Spagnuolo made the comment on a question I asked him at camp. I think it was early last week, maybe about a week ago. But we're still looking for somebody. We know Trent McDuffie's our number 1, but we're still looking for somebody to step up and grab the number 2 and grab the number 3 spot. And part of the reason that hasn't happened is because Jalen Watson's been hurt. Najee Johnson's been hurt. These are guys that they're really counting on, along with Josh Williams, to help fill in and replace what they're losing with L'Jarius Sneed. So there's been a little bit of an injury concern, some other injuries here and there. Kadarius Toney, Wanya Morris, who's battling for that left tackle spot. Xavier Worthy started camp being hurt, but he's been back. So hopefully they're starting to put some of that behind them. They know that they're not going to be quite as deep as they were last year, losing guys like L'Jarius Sneed and Willie Gay and Donovan Smith. They really need to figure out that left tackle spot. That's probably one of the biggest priorities. But overall, I think there's a quiet confidence and expectation that this is going to be a very good team again this year.
Soren Petro, Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City. Again, the Chiefs and the Jaguars Saturday night here at Everbank Stadium as we kick off the NFL preseason. Soren, I guess on the outside looking in, the biggest change from last year, you mentioned the departures, but the new wide receivers, Marquise Brown, you mentioned Xavier Worthy. Even though Worthy has battled some injuries, how have those 2 new wide receivers looked to this point?
They've looked good. I mean, Hollywood Brown seems to be more of a diverse weapon. Obviously you'd expect that with his experience running more routes. Xavier Worthy's been a lot of deep routes, and that's something that the Chiefs really want to do. They had Marquez Valdez-Scantling the last couple of years who could certainly run deep, but oftentimes wouldn't catch the ball when he got deep. And so, I think in Xavier Worthy, they feel like they've got a guy that, yes, he ran the fastest 40 time in combine history, but he's actually a wide receiver. They spent all their time talking about how quickly he assimilated at Texas, how effective he was as a true freshman at Texas, and that they expect him to be able to, come in and, contribute right away and not have a problem picking up the offense, that this will be something that he can handle because of the way he handled it so quickly at Texas. And they spent all the time he was standing on the sidelines at OTAs and minicamps. He was standing right next to Matt Nagy. And so they were really giving him a crash course. While he couldn't physically do it, mentally Matt Nagy was making sure he was invested in everything. So, I think on down the road, you'll see Xavier Worthy running all the routes. I think initially they'll do a lot, taking advantage of his speed. Rashee Rice has actually had a very good camp, and the longer we go and the closer we get to training camp, the more people start to think that maybe the suspension's not going to come this year, that it'll come next year. Clark Hunt, the owner of the Chiefs, said, look, the league's protocol is to let this, play all the way out and to let it go until next year. Let the legal process play out. And if that's the case, that's going to be spring or summer. So if the suspension's not going to come till the legal process plays out, then I think we're looking at after this year. So if they have Rashee Rice for the whole year, Hollywood Brown the whole year, Xavier Worthy growing within the offense all year, I think they feel like they've gone from the receiving core being a real negative to being a tremendous positive.
Soren, we know how good that defense has been with Steve Spagnuolo, who you mentioned, but there have been some departures. L'Jarius Sneed's now in the AFC South, so Jacksonville has to deal with him twice now at Tennessee. Willie Gay among those departures. Biggest change that's going to cause on that Spagnuolo defense here in 2024?
I think it's they'll lose a Swiss Army knife from L'Jarius Sneed, although they really didn't use him that way. He was a guy they would blitz. They'd use inside. They'd use outside. Last year, they really let him go just cover number 1 wideouts. So, when you go look at the PFF grades, you'll see that Trent McDuffie and Josh Williams graded higher than he did, but they weren't checking Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, whoever the number 1 wideout was that was coming the Chiefs' way. So they had an easier assignment. And so we're going to find out, does this change the dynamics of the defense? Because, McDuffie can't just travel with the number 1 wide receiver, and you got to mix it up more. That's the way the Chiefs were before L'Jarius Sneed really emerged over the last couple of years, is they wanted to disguise their coverages, and so they didn't flip sides. Then they decided, no, we can still do some things, and L'Jarius Sneed on their number 1 is a great matchup. You remember him, driving Tyreek Hill into the ground with a jam in the playoff game against the Dolphins. I mean, he's a big physical corner. So they lose that. What they don't lose, though, and they lose Willie Gay's ability to cover and be in space. Leo Chenal is a different kind of linebacker, more of a downhill linebacker. Drew Tranquill will play more of what Willie Gay played as kind of that off-ball linebacker there. But I think, what they lose, they're still going to be good, and they've got good people to step in. So they lose that dynamic ability of L'Jarius Sneed, but they don't suddenly have a hole. And if you talk to a lot of analytics people, they'll tell you that defense is a zero-weakness game. You're better off to be just good everywhere rather than being great in a couple of spots but having a couple of weak spots, because offenses today in the NFL will pick on those weak spots. The Chiefs have great depth at that defensive back position, and while they lose something with L'Jarius Sneed, the combination of Jalen Watson, Najee Johnson, who really hasn't played yet, but they have great hopes. In fact, he may be the number 2 corner on this team after being hurt all of last year, which pushes Josh Williams and Jalen Watson down. And then they've got great depth of safeties. They really like Chamari Connor, who plays kind of in the nickel, kind of a hybrid safety corner role. Jaden Hicks was a lot of people's number 1 safety in this year's draft, and he went in the 4th round to the Chiefs. So throw that in with Brian Cook, who's back from injuries, and they get Justin Reed. They've got great depth in that defensive backfield. So if they start taking on injuries up front, if Chris Jones goes down, this defense looks different. If they start losing a couple of linebackers, they'll be tested more. But this is still a pretty deep defense, and they odds are they're not going to be the number 2 scoring and yardage defense in the NFL. It just doesn't work that way. But nobody expects this defense to fall out of the top 10 and maybe not even out of the top 5.
Final moments. Soren Petro, Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City as the Chiefs come into Jacksonville Saturday night to open up the preseason. Soren, 3 championships in 5 years? I mean, we know about the three-peat and then the quest for history, and I guess maybe I'm answering my own question, but is that the motivation? I mean, what gets Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid fired up in the morning now that they've accomplished all that they have in the last 5 seasons?
Yeah, the fact that no one's three-peated, in the Super Bowl era shows how difficult it is. I mean, you obviously have a target on your back, and I think, you saw last year maybe the doldrums of, we've won a championship. We've won 2 championships, 2 in 4 years it was going into last year. And you saw them kind of sputtering around, and that culminated with an ugly loss to the Raiders on Christmas Day. That seemed to be the wake-up call that, wait a minute, listen, they were still in a playoff spot after that loss, but they were starting to have people nipping at their heels. And I think that seemed to be the wake-up call really as much for the players, but also for the coaching staff to quit trying to make Kadarius Toney a weapon, quit trying to get more out of Sky Moore, and just play with the guys that you can play. Hopefully that was educational. I think it was certainly educational for them wanting to go out and get better at the wide receiver position, which they did. But, I think that was the year to get them, when they were in a lull. I think now the talk of the three-peat and the chance for history doesn't mean they're going to get it. Just because that carrot's out there doesn't mean you get it. But the motivation is there. They're not afraid to talk about it, and they know they've got a chance to do something special, and they know that they're being called a dynasty now. But to separate themselves, the fact that the Patriots were so good, so long, and right in front of them, and the veterans on this team saw that, they've got something to measure themselves by. And they know that if they can win 3 in a row, that's something the New England Patriots never did, and it's something that no one else has done in the Super Bowl year. So I think that is a big motivator for this team, and I think the league, potentially, you got to stay healthy, you got to win the games, but potentially could be saying, the year we messed up was 2023. That's the year we had a chance to get them, and we didn't do it. This team has a chance to be, if they're healthy, very, very good again this year.
Soren, as we begin to wrap up, give Jaguar fans listening tonight maybe a guy or two on Kansas City that doesn't get a lot of national coverage, but is a guy that's opening some eyes and you look forward to personally watching on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think Kingsley Suamataia at their left tackle. They took him in the 2nd round out of BYU. Hot and cold with him, shows some great flashes. You see great athleticism, but you also see him get beat as a rookie. So that's a guy that I think would be interesting to zoom in on, because if he plays very well, then look out. They've solved what is probably their biggest weakness, their biggest riddle. It's between him and Wanya Morris, 23's 3rd-round draft pick. So I would look at that left tackle spot for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then Felix Anudike-Uzomah, number 97 for the Chiefs, was a number 32 pick last year in the draft, had an injured hand when he got to camp and was really not able to participate in anything and was behind all year and didn't do much, made one big tackle in the Super Bowl, but they're really hoping that he can step up and fill that hole that Charles Omenihu, who is leaving until he's able to get back. And, he's shown some flashes here and there. I think that's another big piece for the Chiefs. They know what George Karlaftis and Michael Dane are at DN. Chris Jones is at D tackle. But if Felix Anudike-Uzomah can live up to his draft status, then that, again, makes this defense even deeper. So those are 2 guys that I think the Chiefs are really hoping will have strong preseasons, get better every week. Number 76, Suamataia, the left tackle, and 97, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, the defensive end, are guys that I think could help the Chiefs out a lot if they can take a step.
All right, Soren, final question. I'm always curious when I talk to guys in the other markets. You know, you play the Jaguars, albeit the preseason opener on Saturday night. What is the opinion in Kansas City of the Jaguars coming into 2024?
I think listen, there's a lot of respect here for Doug Peterson and the job he did here in Kansas City as the offensive coordinator, and then, of course, with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the feeling is that they're a good team, but not a great team. I think the feeling is that they've got a very good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. I think there's a lot of smiles on people's faces in Kansas City to see the paychecks and really the cap room that's going to be used for Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, all the guys that started getting paid this year, and to see how these rosters, really in a year or two, because usually you backload those contracts, how they start doing it when they've got to walk away from guys like Tyreek Hill and L'Jarius Sneed, and can you keep doing it? So I think they feel like this team's a threat. I personally think this is the year for Jacksonville to get it done. Number one, you're coming off a non-playoff year where you're not going to be on everybody's radar screen. Yes, you're a good team. Yes, you have good pieces of Super Bowl coach. But, really for most people, they don't have a memory beyond last year. So Jacksonville gets a chance to kind of sneak up on some people. They should have a sour taste in their mouth, be a team that's focused, wants to get back to the playoffs, knows what it takes to get to the playoffs, knows what they did wrong not getting there last year. So I think Jacksonville's a very dangerous team. I think if anybody's going to come in the AFC and kind of shock the world, it's obviously not Baltimore, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo. Those teams are known commodities. If somebody's going to join that group up at the top, and probably two of those teams will be injury-free and be able to be up there, then I think Jacksonville's as good a chance. I know everyone's saying Houston, but I expect this to be a bit of a regression year for Houston the same way it was for Jacksonville last year. So I think Jacksonville's kind of the sleeper in the AFC, done a lot of things right. If it all clicks on offense and Trevor Lawrence takes a step forward and proves me wrong that he's on that next level of quarterbacks, then I think Jacksonville could join the party as one of the top teams in the AFC.
It'll be the Chiefs and the Jaguars Saturday night, Everbank Stadium. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Our guy out in Kansas City is Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810. Soren, thank you as always. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Look forward to it, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810 out in Kansas City for joining us here on Hacker After Dark to give us the Chiefs' perspective on the game tomorrow night. Again, Andy Reid came out earlier and said the Chiefs starters will play about a quarter. We know Doug Peterson has said the Jaguar starters will play a series or two tomorrow night. So the first quarter should be starters on starters, and then we will see what happens after that. Will be a lot of fun down at Everbank Stadium. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1010XL, with kickoff set for 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Well, we did a ton on the Jaguars, as you would expect. We got the Kansas City perspective again from Soren Petro of Sports Radio 810. Thank you to Ryan Roberts, A2ZSports.com, for joining us. Ryan has been covering the NFL draft for years. We looked at the Jaguar young guys that will make their debut tomorrow night in the preseason, from Brian Thomas to Mason Smith to Jarian Jones and all points in between. So appreciate Ryan taking time out. Ryan's also one of the new college football guys for A2ZSports.com. And do you realize we are 2 weeks from tomorrow, man? 2 weeks from tomorrow from college football beginning. And, of course, Florida State is the first game out of the gate over there in Dublin, Ireland on Saturday, August the 24th, taking on Georgia Tech. So appreciate Ryan Roberts for joining us. Former Jaguar and former NFL offensive lineman Derwin Gray spent 4 years in the National Football League, just won a UFL championship with Birmingham. Always enjoy talking ball with Derwin, who's got a unique perspective. Look, Derwin's a guy that the preseason allowed him to get an NFL career for 4 years, right? He was drafted by Pittsburgh, did enough there to be signed here in Jacksonville, did enough for the preseason here in Jacksonville to be signed by Tennessee, and then had enough good film from his NFL time that he's still continuing with his pro football in both the USFL and now the UFL, and that is what it's about for a lot of guys here in the preseason. So I appreciate Derwin Gray's perspective on that. You also heard from Jaguar linebacker Caleb Johnson during one of my training camp one-on-ones down at the Miller Electric Center, and Terrell Edmonds also joined us. And as always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff for helping us out here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back Monday night, and we will certainly recap the Jaguars and the Chiefs beginning at 8 o'clock. Again, I'm getting a lot of people asking me. Fifth quarter, Dave Campo, Leon Searcy, yours truly. That will begin in the regular season. Our first show will be Sunday, September the 8th for the regular season opener, but you will obviously get plenty of reaction to Jaguars-Chiefs on the network post game, and, of course, all day Monday here on 1010XL, beginning at 6 a.m. and going all the way up until us from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock p.m. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Friday evening and really your entire week with us here on Hacker After Dark. As we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Friday evening, a fantastic weekend, and enjoy the Jaguars and the Chiefs tomorrow night. And we will talk to you to break it all down beginning Monday night right here on Hacker After Dark at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
XL, giving you more to dig.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig